Hello and one and all, and welcome back to yet another review, and I shall be continuing the Indiana Jones reviews. Last time I did Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I shall be reviewing the prequel to Raiders, in fact, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which is once again directed by Steven Spielberg, and of course stars Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. And like with Raiders of the Lost Ark, this will contain spoilers. So if you guys have not seen Temple of Doom, I highly suggest you watch it first, then check it out. Unless if you don't care, then welcome anyways. So, according to the trilogy, yes, it's still a trilogy as far as I'm concerned, even if you don't count Crystal Skull. This is easily the most controversial of the Indiana Jones films, according to the trilogy, because of the target audience back when it came out. It was rated PG back when this film originally was going to come out. Audiences were like, parts of this film can be PG, but there's a portion in the middle of the film that's very R-rated, and this is probably the movie that created the PG-13 rating in America. Because, there's some shit going on in Temple of Doom. People are dying, Mola Ram's ripping people apart. So, hey. But anyways, we of course open up with the usual Paramount logo, which opens on the dancing sequence with Willie Scott, who we'll get into in a little bit, who's dancing Everything Goes, the song that is playing at the beginning with all these Chinese people in Obi-Wan Kenobi Club, if I'm correct, whatever that place is, Obi-Wan Club, yeah. And then Indiana Jones is dressing like James Bond, white tux. And we, of course, have a nice introduction to him. I love how all these Indiana Jones movies introduce Indiana Jones. They introduce him really, really well. This is the only time that he's not wearing his fedora hat. And that was a good shot. Anyways, so basically he's trying to get this poison drink. And there's all this action going on. And of course they escape into the car, which leads on to our next character, Short Round, who is freaking awesome. I love Short Round. A lot of people think he's a bit annoying, but God, I love this kid. He's adorable. Just that dude is amazing. Just okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potato. It cracks me up every time I hear that line. Just honestly though, Short Round, just what a character. Probably the best character of the movie. Well, of course Indiana Jones is the icon, but whatever. Of course there's more action going on. They're going on this plane, which goes over these snowy mountains. They're jumping off the plane because it's about to crash. They're jumping on this yellow parachute. They go down the mountain and into the river, and they eventually see these people that are feeling unwell because of this hell place going on with all these nasty people, the likes of Mola Ram. And they've taken these 3 stones, which I will say though, my first criticism, the stones aren't really that fascinating as the Ark or the Holy Grail in Last Crusade. But I mean, they technically do something. They kind of light and set fire, whatever. But yeah. And then of course we do lead on to, which can be a lot of people's issues with Temple of Doom, that being Willie Scott's screaming whenever she's seeing all these creatures, animals like bats, bugs, whatnot. here's what I will say though: she's not particularly a great character per se. Even Kate Capshaw admits that she does not like her own character in the movie, who is married to Steven Spielberg, who also is not a fan of Temple of Doom. It's his least favourite of the 4 Indiana Jones films. And I'm like, I mean, I understand some people don't like. If you don't like this movie, that's okay. But honestly, I have a really fun time with Temple of Doom. I love watching it. I haven't seen it in such a long time, and I was glad to watch it. But anyways, we then lead on to this dinner scene, which could be another issue for some people. You know, there's bugs, snakes, there's monkey brains, you know, and you are starting to realize that the place is really starting to become hell, pretty much. And of course, they of course see the big temple layer where you see the cage that can go down and everything. Somebody goes in there, and Mola Ram starts taking the guy's heart out, and he's literally holding the heart, and the heart is still beating. That is a really, really well done shot. It is so cool. It's really, really fascinating. And while the guy in the cage is dying down there, at the same time, the heart is setting on fire as well. Just that scene is glorious. And yes, that could be another issue, but I do not care because that scene is done really, really well. And of course, you do get some more action going on. You get the next big tough guy for Indiana Jones. You know, we had one already in Raiders of the Lost Ark. We now get a big thug guy. And of course, Indiana Jones goes rogue for a bit. He's not wearing his shirt, he's not wearing his hat. And, you know, but eventually he does turn good again, and Wooly is trapped in the cage, and eventually they bring her back up, you know. And of course, you get the awesome mine cart chasing, which is so thrilling. I love it. I love how the John Williams music plays throughout it. It is fantastic. It is easily one of the best action scenes in the whole Indiana Jones series. Well, to me, it's a trilogy anyway. Yeah. You know, all these red bad guy guards, they're all going off the Indy, Wooly, and Short Rounds. You know, eventually there's water coming after them. Eventually they do escape anyway. And they're eventually at the bridge. You know, and there's still action going on. And I love the shot whenever Indiana Jones is constantly running up towards the camera with the whip and the shield and the sword, and constantly running away, and all the red guards are chasing after him. That is a brilliant scene. I love it so much. And of course, we're all on the bridge, and while Indiana Jones is about to cut off the bridge, he's ripping muscle. Yeah, anyways, eventually the bridge gets cut in half. You know, all the bad guys are dying. You know, the music just playing out is so intense. And eventually Molaran does fall to his death, gets killed by rocks and crocodiles. Yeah, eventually they save one of the stones, the fire glowing stones, whatever they're called. They're just called stones anyway. But yes, they do give you know, the Indian people back wherever wherever Temple of Doom takes place. I'm pretty sure it does take place in India, but I could be wrong. And of course, Indy and Wooly are having a moment together, and that's the film done. And of course, Short Round is having fun with the elephant. But yeah, let's talk about Molaran. Yes, he's a very, very silly character. but I just particularly love whenever he's taking the guy's heart out. And he has a very funny voice. His voice is kind of... Sometimes whenever he talks, he kind of cracks me up sometimes. I don't know what it is. I don't know. He's probably the toughest... one of the toughest villains that Indiana Jones has ever faced off against. And just how all the action is done. The action here is great. You know... there's chemistry between Indiana Jones and Short Round. I didn't really feel much chemistry for Indiana Jones and Willie Scott, even though they do kind of have a moment together at the end of the film where they're just constantly kissing, but whatever. I didn't really feel it, honestly. And those do have a couple of problems with Temple of Doom. You know, Willie's not a great character. She's not the Jar Jar Binks for Indiana Jones. I wouldn't call her that. I think she's okay. I mean, having the moment with Indiana Jones is pretty sweet, even though there isn't really much of a chemistry going on. But I don't think she was a horrible character either. I thought she was fine. She did her best, even if Kate Capshaw didn't like her character. But overall, guys, I really have a fun time with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I think it's easily the most underrated Indiana Jones film. You know, Short Round is a great character. I love that character to no end. It's hilarious. You know, the minecart chase scene is thrilling. The bridge scene, and just, if you guys have not seen this film in a while, and if you are kind of getting into horror, which this film does technically have horror vibes, I recommend watching this film again. I mean, I haven't seen this in quite a while, so it was great to watching this again, and I'm glad I did, because I did love watching this film for the most part. But overall, I'm going to give Temple of Doom, of my letter grade scale, I'm going to give it an A-. So there you go, guys. That was my review of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So guys, comment down below, let me know below what your thoughts on Temple of Doom are. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's not so good? And also, what is your favourite prequel, considering this film's a prequel, as it takes place in 1935, while Raiders, which I forgot to mention in my Raiders review, takes place in 1936. Whatever your favourite prequel is, let me know below, and let's have a great discussion in the comments below. And stay tuned for my review on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I am so looking forward to giving you guys that review. And if you're new to my channel, I'm a movie reviewer from the UK that likes to review movies and classics, especially when a new movie comes out, and on just when I feel like it, and on special times. But as always, guys, please feel free to leave a comment, click subscribe and like. Share this video and notify the bell before you leave. All of my social media links will be in the description down below. And as always, until my next video, I shall see you then, and peace.